Welcome to Brookside Park in beautiful Ashland, Ohio. You're watching the championship game of the Ashland, Ohio tournament. This one will feature the number one ranked team in the world, the New York Gremlins. They are unbeaten thus far. They'll be taking on the number 4 ranked team in the world, the Northeast Drillers. I'm Jim Flanagan. You are watching the Gremlins Network. Happy to have you with us from wherever you may be watching. This is the game we've all been waiting for, the championship game. Semifinals are now in the books. These Drillers winning the 9 a.m. game 9-4. The Gremlins finishing off the AWP Lumberjacks 11-3. And we are ready to get underway. Jack Besgrove in the circle for the Gremlins. Batting order for the Drillers. Teal Migliavaca in the batter's box right now, leading off. He'll be followed by Blake Milheim, Cam Schiller, and Marshall Kronk. Jordan Solario in the 5 spot. Waymo Mata will swing his own bat. In the 6 spot, Juan Zara, Blake Underwood, and Zach Shaw rounding it out to the 9 spot. Defensively, the Gremlins a little different look. Same faces, some in different positions. The outfield the same as last game. Redemar in left, Inoka in center. Panuelas, the youngster from Mexico, in right field. Around the infield, Gonzalo Mazmu again starting at third. Cole Evans short. Tane Mumu getting a start over at second base. And the top hitter for the Gremlins, Eric Ochoa, on the first base bag. Doing the catching in this one, Brian Avery. So Nick Mullins getting a breather. And in the circle, of course, the ace of the Gremlin staff, the young Australian Jack Besgrove. That one's laced up the middle for a base hit. Migliavaca is aboard to lead things off. These two teams have played each other 3 times already in the young 2024 season. They played twice up at the Chiefs Challenge in Simcoe. Gremlins winning both of those games. Eight to 1 and 9 to 5, and then the gem pitched by Martin Gonzalez. The Gremlins winning just 1-0. Lucio Redemar led off the game with a home run, and the pitching staff made it stand up for the win. So Gremlins have come away with 3 wins. The Drillers not yet able to find the solution. At the plate, Blake Milheim. Blake, one of 3 infielders on this Driller team from the USA national team. Blake and Cam Schiller at short, Zach Shaw over at second, so virtually the entire infield from Team USA. Schiller and Milheim filled in as Gremlins just a week or so ago up in Saskatoon. That was the WBSC qualifier tournament in Saskatoon. A number of the Gremlins players were with their national teams, Jerome Remeke among them with New Zealand, Matthew Waugh, Blake Hunter, and so forth with Canada. So the pickups were from the Driller team. So these folks have seen each other before. Milheim actually was a Gremlin, I want to say 4 years ago or thereabouts, when he was just coming up into the game, but now a mainstay for this Northeast Driller team out of Virginia. Line foul and out of play on the right side. Besgrove 2 wins thus far in the tournament. He was the winner on Friday night, struck out 17. Not a typo, 17. Came back yesterday and struck out a dozen in the win against AWP. So a win over Circle Tap on Friday night, 5-2 score, 29 strikeouts in his 2 outings in this tournament. Migliavaca was off on the pitch, but it's a fly ball to right field. Panuelas looked like he might have lost it for a moment, but recovered in time. Migliavaca was off on the pitch. Watch the replay. You'll see, looked like maybe he thought it was going to come down somewhere a little bit over, and then had to make the quick recovery. Cam Schiller at the plate, 1 on, 1 out. Cam Schiller and the Gremlins' Cole Evans, usually in the conversation when people talk about the best shortstops in the game. Both very talented hitters, but they flash the leather. Swing and a miss late on that one. Bestgrove in 2023 form. He has been on throughout the season. Double-digit strikeouts almost every time out. He is averaging just shy of 2 strikeouts per inning. Swing and a miss late on that one is Schiller. Jack comes into the game with a 0.89 ERA. Ball upstairs. Migliavaca looking like he wants to go somewhere down at first. We'll keep an eye on him. Drillers would like to put somebody in scoring position early. Not many teams have figured out the puzzle that Jack Bestgrove represents. Any runs welcome, and if you can score them early, I'm sure they would like to. The Drillers split with Circle Tap. They lost last night's game. That was a 5-4 loss. But they still managed to get in the 2 versus 3 game, and that turned out to be a rematch against Circle Tap that they won early this morning. Laced to center field, base hit. 1 hop in front of Inoka. Migliavaca steaming around third. He'll stay there. So a couple of hits off Bestgrove in the first. Schiller with a single to center. Miggy over to third. And the Australian Marshall Cronk will step to the plate. Dangerous hitter, to be sure. The Gremlins have trailed in a couple of games. They fell behind Circle Tap Friday night. They were up 1-0 on Ochoa's homer. Fell behind 2-1, managed to come back and win 5-2. And then fell behind in the semifinal against the Lumberjacks. They scored a couple right off the bat, but the Gremlins came back with 3 of their own in the first and went on to cruise to the 11-3 win. Like the Gremlins, the Drillers, a largely internationally talented roster, most of them members of their respective national teams. Flare foul. It's going to be out of play on the right. Jack only had 1 inning on Friday where he looked like he was mortal, so to speak. Blair Ezekiel led off the 5th with a base hit. That was the first hit they had in the game, and they managed to string together a walk and another hit. Matt Harrell with a 2 RBI single. But that was the only inning that he surrendered any runs. Just off the plate outside. Jack looking like he wanted that pitch. A ball and 2 to Marshall Cronk. Good power has he. Runners at the corners. Migliavaca at third. Schiller over at first. Both run well. Just off the plate outside. Marshall and Jack, of course, teammates on the national team for Australia. Jack helped pitch them in the qualifier Group A into a berth to next year's World Cup. Lined foul on the right side. Got a good piece of it. Just late. Good velocity has Bestgrove. Late movement. The ball gets on you quick. Looked like Marshall just a little bit late on that pitch. Martin Gonzalez was the winner for the Drillers this morning. Mata was the losing pitcher last night to Circle Tap. He's the starter here for the Drillers. Off the plate outside. Jordan Solario will be next. Grounded foul. We'll do it again. Grounder right back to Bestgrove, looks to third, keeps Migliavaca there, flips it over to Ochoa for the out. 1-3 on your scorecard. Moving over to second base on the play is Cam Schiller. And it'll be up to young Jordan Solario to try and bring home a run for the Drillers. Solario in the mold of the youngster for the Gremlins, Abayardo Penuelas. He hails from Mexicali, Mexico. Youngish 20-some, 22 or thereabouts youngster from Mexico, and has very much a similar approach to the game. Good contact hitter. Jordan had a hit in the earlier game in the semifinal that drove in the first run for the Drillers. In for a called strike. Solario actually had 2 of the 13 hits for the Drillers in that game, drove in 2 of those 9 runs they scored against Circle Tap. A little bit high, they appeal the call and they do not get it, says our base umpire. Dave Jacks is our first base umpire. Ed Otterman from Kitchener, Ontario, over at third, and behind the plate, behind the plate, Brian Sonic. Yeah, switch that. It's Jacks behind the plate. Sonic's at first. Two-one count to Jordan Solario. Jack trying to pitch out of trouble here in the first. Just off the plate outside. Bestgrove nibbling around the edges. Bestgrove living on the black edges of the plate. Falling behind against Solario, though. Waymo Mata waiting on deck. Ball upstairs, and Solario aboard with a walk, so the base is loaded. First base was open. So Bestgrove pitching around the youngster from Mexico. It'll bring up Waymo Mata, the starting pitcher for these Drillers in this game, batting for himself. Mata, one of those good hitting pitchers. So no DP in the game, no designated player for the Drillers. That one gets away, it goes to the backstop, and Migliavaca is going to scamper home with the first run. So pass ball to the screen results in a run. Moving over to third is Schiller. Moving up to second is Solario. Drillers with 2 in scoring position now. And Mata with a chance to help himself before he ever throws a pitch in the game. Good hard one down the middle for a called strike. Defense for the Gremlins straight away. Corners a step or so off the bag. Ochoa maybe a step or two behind the baseline. Another one hard down the middle for a called strike. Stays upstairs, taken for a ball. So the count runs 1-2. Bestgrove pitching carefully with an 0-2 count and 2 runners aboard. No reason to throw. Anything that Mata would like to hit. Good power he has. Swinging a foul, tip, miss. Down on strikes goes Mata, and Bestgrove pitches out of trouble. But the Gremlins give a run away in the first. Drillers will take a 1-0 lead to the field with them. We'll be back with more action and our first look at the Gremlins in this championship game. You're watching the Ashland, Ohio tournament from beautiful Brookside Park. We'll be back. Home half of the first innings, the Gremlins will get their first look at Waymel Mata. As we mentioned, Mata, the losing pitcher in yesterday or last night's game against Circle Tap.
Batting, the right fielder, number 30, Menuelos. 2 outs. The center fielder, number 89, Ben Anoka. Three up and down. Number 1 complete. The Drillers 1, Gremlins 0.
Top half of the second inning for the Drillers. There you see on your screen the two starters, Jack Besgrove for the Gremlins, Waymul Mata for the Northeast Drillers. 6, 7, 8 in the batting order. Seven, 8, 9 in the batting order. Zara, Underwood, Shaw. Drillers in that first inning had the one run on just 2 hits. The pass ball bringing home the one run. That's all we have thus far in the game. Zara, one of a number of Argentines on this Driller team. Mata, of course, one of the others. Martin Gonzalez, who pitched the earlier game today, another. Little changeup floats that one in, too low. Swing and a miss on the rise ball, a good hard riser from Besgrove. Gremlins have won a couple of the tournaments they've played in already this year. They won the Chiefs Challenge, faced Hill United in the finals in that one. Lucio Redemar coming up with a big 3-run homer to win that one. Swing and a miss. That one goes to the screen. Abry will have to make a throw, and he does just in time to get Zara. So 1 out recorded. The Gremlins won the Port Huron tournament. No easy feat, but managed to come away with that one. Went to Saskatoon, dropped a couple, but still finished in the hunt. Just missed out on the championship game in that one. And here we are in the final game of the final day at Ashland. In for a called strike. Little ground ball to Bestgrove, fields it nicely, flips it underhand to Ochoa. 2 outs. If you joined us late, the Drillers scoring a run on 2 hits in the first. A couple of singles by Migliavaca and Schiller, and the run coming home on the pass ball. Here's Zach Shaw. I think I'm looking at Zach Shaw, but on the back it says Schiller, so maybe a borrowed uniform there. Different builds, so I was pretty sure it was still Shaw. Wonder if that's legal, 2 numbers the same? Who knows? Always hard when you make those road trips. Make sure all the gear shows up. Make sure you pack all the jerseys. Most of these top teams have 2 or 3 different looks, so it's always a question, which one are we wearing today? Pop fly. Mumu is going to give chase, but it'll be Penuelas coming on to make the catch out in right field. So an easy inning for Jack Bestgrove, 3 up and down. For the Drillers, no runs, no hits, and nobody left. To the home half of the second we go. I'm Jim Flanagan. You are watching the Ashland, Ohio tournament on the Gremlins Network, courtesy of Softball Premier TV. Home half of the second inning for the Gremlins. It'll be 4, 5, and 6. That's Ochoa, Evans, and Avery. First 3 batters retired by Waymel Mata. Drillers on top by a 1-0 score. We want to say a quick thank you to sponsor Bruce Tansky, who is responsible for the Gremlins Network. Thank you for your generous support of the program and the team. Couldn't bring these broadcasts to all of you around the world without him. Here's Eric Ochoa stepping in. Eric, as we've been saying throughout the weekend, at the top of all of the offensive categories for the Gremlins, with the exception of runs scored. And that's because he's been driving them home. Came into today with 22 hits and already had a couple more in the morning game, so he expanded his lead. He's about 4, 5, or 6 ahead of every other Gremlin, and there's some pretty good numbers in that next group. He came in with a 431 average this morning. Laced foul down the line. That won't hurt the average. That one's going to go into the corner. Ochoa steaming around second. He's got an easy stand-up double. And the hit parade continues now. The throw gets away, and Ochoa takes an extra base. Good heads-up running by Eric Ochoa. Watch the replay, you'll see. Inside-out swing goes right down the left field line. Credit the double, and then taking the extra base. Here's Cole Evans. So the tying run just 60 feet away. Greg Leather down at third, and sort of a routine he and Hicks share, taking the gear that Eric Ochoa wears, the Gladiators gear. Lighten up for running the bases. That one's off the plate outside. Evans started the morning with a .324 average, 12 for 37, 8 RBIs, so he's up near the top tier. Also in the trio of players with 2 home runs that are trailing Ochoa's 4. Misses with that one downstairs. Evans, of course, the shortstop for the New Zealand national team. Tane Mumu, the second baseman for the Gremlins today, a fine shortstop in his own right, but finding himself at second base, a youngster following in the footsteps of a Cole Evans, the two making quite a duo up the middle. 3-1 to Cole Evans. Off the plate outside, and Evans works the walk. So runners at the corners, nobody out for the Gremlins, and a chance to get back in this one early. So Brian Avery will step in, .275 average. He's got 11 hits coming into today. He added to that total already. Likewise, the 8 RBIs now increased, and a chance to cash in a couple more. Called Avery the Swiss Army knife of players. He'll play several positions: catcher, third base, outfield. Very versatile player. Swing and a miss late on the riser. Defense for the Drillers straight away. Migliavaca looking right down the center line towards home from center. Off the plate, Zara trying to frame it. A ball and 2. Just inside, missing downstairs. Mata of the school, don't throw a strike unless you have to. That one just inside. So the count even at 2-2, 2 aboard. Foul tip back to the screen. We'll do it again. Championship Sunday has come out pretty much according to Hoyle. Gremlins came in as the number 1 seed. The Drillers were the other top seed at number 4. The other 2 semifinal teams, number 6 Circle Tap and number 8 AWP. So 4 top 10 teams, the top 2 here. One hopper, they go to the plate. They'll have Ochoa out, dead on arrival there. Avery aboard on the fielder's choice. Ochoa off on the pitch, not much he could do. Tagged out. So it'll be up to Ladislao Malarzuk with runners now at first and second, 1 out. So from first and third to first and second, an improvement for the Drillers, now with 1 out in the book. Laddie at the plate, Mumu will be next. Strike on the outside edge. Just off the plate outside, little spinning changeup. Mata enjoying the moment. Sometimes a fun pitch, the guy that throws that hard likes to float the changeup in now and then, see if you can fool the hitter. Malarchuk with a home run to his credit this year. Good power. Swing and a miss late on that one. Riser away from the lefty. Nick Mullins running, by the way, for Brian Avery over at first base. Just off the plate outside. Evans at second represents the potential tie-in run. Somehow think that Brian will take a little banter about Mully running for him. Swing and a miss, inside rise ball. Great location by Mata, up and in. Tied him up, 2 outs.
With 2 outs, that brings up second baseman number 2, Tane Mumu.
So Tane Mumu will step in with 2 outs and 2 on, trying to cash in a run. Gremlins started out the inning with a couple aboard and nobody out. Now looking to try and squeeze one across with 2 outs. In for a called strike on the inside edge. Way inside, almost hit him. On deck, Gonzalo Masmu, if we get that far. Right now, the game at the plate, Tane Mumu against Waymo Mata. Little two-hopper out to second. Jack Saw over to Marshall Cronk, and Waymo Mata pitches out of trouble. 2 on and nobody out, and no runs scored for the Gremlins. No runs, 1 hit. A couple of men left to be played to complete. 1-0 Drillers on top. We'll be back with more. You're watching the Gremlins Network from Brookside Park in Ashland, Ohio. Back to the top of the order in the third. Teal Migliavaca steps in 1 for 1. He scored the lone run in this game. Puts down a bunt, a good one. Up with it is Avery, but not in time to get the speedy Migliavaca. Beautiful bunt by Teo. There you see the replay. Just drops the bat, almost catching the ball with it. The ball dribbling out in front of the plate. Avery coming out strong, but Miggy with good speed. Now on at first, his second hit of the game. And here's Blake Milheim. Milheim flied to right his first trip up. Swing and a miss. Foul tip, I believe, or maybe not. He's on his way to third. I think that may be the discussion whether it was a foul tip or not. Greg Hicks, coach for the Gremlins, is going to come out and ask. Maybe we can catch a replay. That is the question being asked out loud. We can hear it from the field. Was that a foul ball? And now they'll have a conference of the umpires. Dave Jacks of Ajax, Ontario. Brian Sonic and Ed Otterman from Kitchener out having a conference now. Greg Hicks, I think, is going to try and squeeze in a word. I thought it was a foul ball, but what do I know? We're a little distance away from the plate. They all had a better look at it than I. We're up here in the press box in the second level, pretty close to home. But it looks like the call's going to stand, not a foul ball. Tio Migliavaca still over at third. So 2 bases he picks up from being at first to now just 60 feet away. Brian Avery, the catcher, still having a chat at home, but the discussion is over, as is the ruling. And we'll get back to the action. Foul out of play on the right side. 2 strikes on Milheim. High, it's going to be out of play, foul. Ochoa and Mumu given chase but run out of real estate. Swing and a miss, throws the rise ball right on by Blake Milheim. 1 out, Migliavaca still at third. Maybe the best pitch we've seen in the game thus far from Bestgrove. Really dialed up the velocity. Ball jumped. Here's Cam Schiller. Schiller with one of 2 singles in that 1-run first inning for the Drillers. Went up the middle to center. Masmu at the bag at third, maybe a step in front of the base path. Ochoa likewise a step or 2 off the line. Middle infielders short and up, trying to cut off that run. Lifted out into the gap in right field, given chase is Panuelas. The ball hits the fence on a fly, and an RBI double for Cam Schiller has the Drillers on top by 2. The ball carried up and over. You'll see it on the replay. The ball was actually down a little bit. He went down and golfed it, put a charge into it. Panuelas not able to catch up with it. So Schiller at second base with the RBI double. Migliavaca scoring. And big Marshall Cronk at the plate. In for a strike. Change up and a beauty just downstairs. Good idea, good time for that, I think. Way inside, got him off the plate inside. Gremlins -4 their frontline players this weekend. Blake Hunter and Matthew Waugh both off for the weekend. Zenon Winter and Jerome Remicky out with injuries. So some reshuffling. Skipper Greg Leather doing a good job to move the pieces, get his team into this championship game. Also a great opportunity for some of the youngsters to show their stuff. Foul straight back and over. Off the plate outside, ball 4 to Marshall Cronk, so he is aboard. First base was open, and with his power, I think just pitching carefully was Jack. The batter will be Jordan Solario. Solario worked a first inning walk, did not score.
The left fielder, number 21, Jordan Solario.
He's the youngster from Mexicali, the counterpart to the Gremlins Penuelas. Both of them playing older than their years. Solario with a couple of RBIs and a couple of runs scored in the semifinal earlier this morning. That one gets away from Avery. And moving up to second and third are Schiller and Cronk. In for a call strike. That little curve riser coming in on the right-hander. Drillers can score some runs. They scored 9 against Circle Tap in the semifinal. 13 hits they pounded out along the way. That was against Segura and Matt Beckett. Ball high. The inning started with Migliavaca's bunt in front of the plate. He came around to score on Schiller's double. Now second and third. Swing and a miss. Lifted foul and out of play on the right side. Solario battling to stay alive. Change up the release point off on that one. The ball sails high. You could see him losing the grip as it came out of his hand, not the pitch he wanted. So 3-2 now. First base is open. off the plate outside, and Solario for the second time today aboard with a walk. So 2 consecutive walks. That's going to bring a visit to the circle by Brian Avery, the catcher. Jack Besgrove struggling a little bit here in the third. A couple of hits, a couple of walks, 1 run in. Wimmelmata steps in with a chance to help himself. Bases loaded. Just 1 out. The Gremlins, no doubt, looking for that double play ball. Strike on the outside edge. The curve moving away from the right-hander Mata. Up throwing on the Gremlins sideline, Kuba Osika. In for a called strike. Kuba tossed a no-hitter yesterday in his first outing. Picked up the win in the semifinal this morning. Had some real good innings and some other innings where he had to work through some trouble. In for called strike 3. Mata looks at it and will head back to the dugout. Big out for Jack Besgrove. That's out number 2.
With 2 outs, brings up the catcher, number 6, Juan Zara.
Third strikeout of the game for Besgrove. Besgrove, as we mentioned, averaging just under 2 strikeouts per inning against the rest of the season. Here's Juan Zara. Zara went down on strikes his first time up. First pitch swinging. Foul down the right field line. Laddie Millarchuk down there with his glove protecting Kuba's back. I guess that's one of the reasons why. He flags that ball down. Still bases loaded for the Drillers. Zara with a chance to break it open here. Drillers already on top by 2. Laced to center field, right at Inoka. Reaches up and makes the catch for the final out. That ball very nearly over Ben Inoka in center field. So side retired, the damage limited to the 1 run for the Drillers in the inning. 1 run on 2 hits and 3 men left. To the home half of the third we go. Still 2-0 Drillers on top of the Gremlins. (9-1-2) for the Gremlins here in the third. That means Masmu, Redamar, and Panuelas. First at bat against Mata for Masmu. Tries to check his swing, and it's in for a strike one way or the other. The offensive story for the Drillers thus far has been 2 words, Tio Migliavaca. A couple of singles, a couple of runs scored. He is the player that ignites the offense often for these Drillers. He's doing it in this game. Strike called. Gonzalo filling in at third or getting some starts at third in place of Jerome Remicke, we mentioned, out with an injury. Gremlin fans hope to see him back perhaps in Grand Rapids or thereabouts. A broken bone in the wrist, I'm told, but healing quickly and I guess getting some good medical care. So Jerome, take care of it. If you're out there watching, we just send along our best regards for a quick recovery. In for a call, third strike. Masmu down on strikes for the first out in the third. That'll flip it back to the top of the shop to Lucio Redemar. Abayardo Panuelas waiting on deck. Little slow roller down to third. He'll have to hurry up in time just ahead of Redemar. Blake Milhine, nice defensive play there, flipping it over to Kronk for the out. 2 up and down quickly in the third for the Gremlins. It'll be Abayardo Penuelas. Abayardo, we've mentioned, rookie making his debut on Friday night, having himself a great weekend here in Ashland. One hopper to second to Zach Shaw, an easy toss to Kronk. Easy inning for Waymo Mata, 3 up and down. No runs, no hits, nobody left. We've played 3 complete. Northeast Drillers on top of the New York Gremlins by a 2-0 score. I'm Jim Flanagan. You're watching the Gremlins Network. We'll be back for more from Brookside Park in Ashland, Ohio. Top of the 4th inning for the Drillers, sitting on a 2-run lead here. They'll send up 7, 8, 9 in the inning. It'll be Zara, Underwood, then Shaw. Jack Fesgrove and Waymo Mata going head-to-head in this one. Advantage at the moment, Waymo Mata and his Drillers team. First pitch swinging, 2 hopper, gets away from Tane. Cole Evans picks it up and throws in time. A 4-6-3 out. Hard hit ball. Tane took the brunt of that one, knocked it down, and Cole Evans, as ever, outstanding defensive player, picks it up and makes the throw for the out. 4-6-3. Usually the front end of a double play. Take it how it comes, says the Gremlins. Here's Blake Underwood. I'm sorry, Zach Shaw off on that. Zach Shaw wearing Cam Schiller's uniform. Ground ball to the hole, smooth and easy. Cole Evans, 6-3 on the putout. 2 outs. That'll flip it back to the top of the order. Third time to the plate for Tio Migliavaca. He's done everything asked of him today. A single and scored a run. A single and scored another run. Led off the game with a base hit to center. Led off the third with the bunt and came around to score another run. Tio, of course, from Argentina, brother of the Gremlins, Pablo Migliavaca. Off the plate outside. Good over the top drop on the outside edge, in for a called strike. Swing and a miss, and down goes Migliavaca. First time today he's been retired. Easy inning for Jack Besgrove. 3 up and down, no runs, no hits, and nobody left. To the home half of the fourth we go. Gremlins chasing 2. Drillers on top 2-0. We'll be right back. Coming up to the midway point here, bottom half of the fourth inning, Benny Noka will start things off. So it's 3-4-5 for the New York Gremlins. Ochoa and Evans waiting in the wings. They'll be next. Inoka, a strikeout victim in his first trip to the plate, went down looking in that first inning. Waymel Mata has largely been in command up to this point. Just the Ochoa double and a walk in that second inning. Nobody scored. First pitch swing and a little slow roller down to third. Milheim up to Kronk. 5-3 on your scorecard. Half a dozen in a row set down by Waymel Mata. Here's Eric Ochoa. Ochoa with a lone hit thus far against Mata. The double to the fence. Got as far as third base, but then tagged out at the plate on a ground ball in the infield. That was actually the best look the Gremlins have had at scoring today. A little quiet, uncharacteristically so. The Drillers have played the number 1 team. As we said, Gremlins have beaten them 3 times. They lost a tough 1-0 game to number 3 Bear Creek. They lost a good ball game to Hill United, so they're playing the top teams. The highest ranked team they've beaten so far this year, the Circle Tap team, that coming in the semifinal this morning. Circle Tap at number 6. Here's Ochoa. Ball high, stays upstairs. Where to pitch Eric Ochoa? Always a question on pitchers' minds. With the numbers he's put up, largely most of the pitchers out there haven't figured out that puzzle yet. He misses away. So the last couple he pounds the outside corner, but well off the plate. In on the outside edge for a call strike. So Mata, after failing to get the call on a first couple, finds that black edge. Still behind in the count. In on the outside edge again, so just nibbling at the edges. Ochoa still looking for a pitch he likes. The count runs full, 3-2. Off the plate away, taken for ball 4. So Ochoa, some good patience up there. He'll head on down to first base. One out in the inning. It'll be Cole Evans to try and move him over. Evans started the day with a .324 average, 12 hits, 8 RBIs, which puts him towards the top, other than Ochoa's numbers. A couple of home runs to go with it, though, so good power. One swing of the bat could tie this game. Not sure anyone in the Gremlins lineup is going up there with a mindset they're going to try and hit the ball out of the park. Waymole throwing very well to this point. I think just trying to move some runners over. It's been a quiet offense up to this point in the game for the Gremlins. In for a strike on the outside part of the plate. Defense for the Drillers straight away. Milheim giving up a little bit of the left field foul line, a few steps towards short. That one's in for a called strike. So down goes Evans, out number 2. Same vicinity of the pitches that he threw to Ochoa. That one finds the edge, so 2 outs. Ochoa still at first. It'll be Brian Avery's chance to try and get something going. In for a called strike. Avery, one at bat in the game, reached on a fielder's choice. Over the top drop in for a called strike on the outside edge against the right-hander. Downstairs and away, ball. Downstairs misses again. Laced down the line, but it's going to be foul and out of play. Avery late on the pitch, but just trying to get a piece of it, go the other way with it. Just 3 base runners aboard thus far for the Gremlins. The double by Ochoa, his walk, and the walk to Cole Evans. That ball bounces in the dirt, skips away, and winds up all the way over to third baseman Blake Milheim. Ochoa down to second base. Ochoa having a good chuckle about something with Zach Shaw. Those two, of course, teammates on the USA national team. So on the wild pitch, Ochoa to second in scoring position. Avery with a chance to cut the lead in half with a base hit. Foul tip, good hack at it, had Avery. Fighting to stay alive. Ladislao Malarczuk on deck if Avery can reach. Ball away upstairs, so Avery now works a walk. Second walk in the inning by Mata, and it'll be up to Ladislao Malarczuk. Watch it on the replay, you'll see. Trying to nibble at that outside edge and missed. So the potential tying run now down at first base with 2 out. Malarczuk trying to get something home. In for a called strike. That one right down the heart of Main Street. Downstairs misses. Strike call on the outside edge. It's like a 2-inch margin that he continues to try and work. Some hit, some miss. Thus far, he's been on the winning side. Strike 3 call, and Malarczuk left standing, as are the Gremlins. 2 left on base, no runs, no hits. 2 men left. We played 4 complete. Still, Northeast Drillers 2, New York Gremlins nothing. We'll go to the 5th. Top half of the fifth inning, early getting late for the Gremlins. Jack Besgrove looking for a quick inning, get his team back to hitting. A defensive change for the Gremlins. Nick Mullins coming on to catch in place of Brian Avery. Looks like a straight substitution, so I presume that'll put him in that sixth spot in the batting order. For the Drillers, 2, 3, and 4, Milheim, Schiller, and Marshall Kronk. Ball sails up and out of the strike zone to the backstop. Drillers up by 2. They'd like to add another run to that insurance tally. Wilmota, to this point, has been able to shut down the Gremlin offense at least through 4. Laced into the hole between short and third. Blake Milheim has his first hit of the game, and he's aboard to lead things off.
Now batting the shortstop, number 3, Schiller.
Third time in 5 innings that the Drillers have been able to get a leadoff hitter aboard with a base hit. Migliavaca, the owner of the other 2, also scored the 2 runs that are the margin of difference right now. Schiller, 2 for 2 on the day. Single and a double. Single to center, double to right. Misses inside. Schiller and Milheim and Zach Shaw of the USA. Eric Ochoa and Mullins also from the USA. They'll all be in that qualifier Group C, played in Oklahoma City in September. Right now on opposite sides of the field. Swing and a miss. Mullins ready to make a throw, but staying put is Milheim. Two and 2 now to Cam Schiller. Swing and a miss. Rise ball right on by him. First time he's retired Schiller today. 1 out, 1 on. It'll be Marshall Kronk to step in. Kronk 0 for 1 on the day. Tap out to the pitcher and walked in his last at bat. Strike called. 5 hits in the game for the Drillers. 2 in the first produced a run. 2 in the third produced a run. And the 5th one this inning, the leadoff single by Milheim, we'll see. Strike called on the outside edge. High hopper, Besgrove fields it. The high throw, Ochoa manages to hang on, grab the bag and snow cone, but he managed to make the play. Great defense by Eric. Besgrove, you see it on the replay, he had plenty of time, but just a little bit high on the release. Ochoa hanging on and making sure he got that bag. So over to second goes Milheim. An exciting 1-3 put out on your scorecard. 2 outs, and it's up to Jordan Solorio. Solorio with 2 walks. ball away. Solorio, we mentioned a couple of hits and a couple of RBIs in this morning's game. Part of that 13-hit, 9-run attack by the Drillers that put them into this game. The win over Circle Tap, who had defeated them last night. Just outside. Strike call to the outside edge. So at this point, it's now Bestgrove nibbling around the edges, as did Mata, as he has done through 4 innings. Milheim with good speed out at second base, trying to look over the shoulder of Bestgrove. Comes inside, just misses with that pitch. Swing and a miss. There's that big roundhouse rise from Bestgrove. So the runs to count full on Solorio. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Bestgrove with 4 strikeouts to this point in the game. That one's hit out into right field. Penuela's going to go back and make a nice catch. From one to another, those two a pair, Solorio and Penuelas. Side retired. Bestgrove manages to get out of trouble. The runner got as far as second. 1 hit, no runs, and 1 man left. To the home half of the 5th we go. And early is getting late for the Gremlins. We'll be right back. Home half of the 5th inning for the Gremlins. 8, 9, and 1 in their batting order. That's the M&M boys, Mumu and Mazmu. Back to the top of the order after that, Lucio Redamar. Gremlins on the short end of this one find themselves in a place they're not accustomed to very often. Trailing, no runs scored in the 5th inning. The tournament in Port Huron, the Gremlins came away winners, but they had some trouble scoring runs in some of the games. We mentioned the 1-0 win they had over these Drillers in that opener. Redamar leading off the game with a home run, and that was it. Also had a close game against Bear Creek and AWP on Sunday. So sometimes the runs come easy. This is not one of those games. Drillers needing 9 outs to win the title here. Gremlins trying to stand in the way of that. Here's Tane Mumu. Mumu 0 for 1, grounded out his first time up. Shows a bunt. Did he get hit? I think so. in the hand or no? We'll see it on the replay. He's trying to pull his hand back. Not heading to first base, though, so it looks like just a foul ball. I think skipper Greg Leather has seen enough of injuries at this point. That was the situation that took Jerome Remeke out, hit on the wrist by a pitch, now sidelined. Defense playing him at normal depth, the corners even with the bag. Liner foul just along the right side. A foot to the left, and it might be in the corner. Okay. Defensive note, looks like Godoy in the game for Underwood out in right field. Laced into center field, base hit up the middle, and Tane Mumu has a hit in the game and the leadoff single. Trying to breathe life into this Gremlin team. Good at bat by the youngster. He was behind in most of the count, just kept battling. Stayed behind that one, got just enough of it to send it up the middle. Here's Masmu, Gonzalo Masmu stepping in. We'll see how the skipper, Greg Leather, over at third plays this. Chasing 2 runs. In for a called strike. Good framing there by Zara, pulling that one into the zone. Mumu with great speed over at first. He's been used very often as a runner. Notched a number of stolen bases in Port Huron, one that made a big difference in one of the games. Greg Leather has been aggressive with base runners, a little bit easier when you're even or ahead. Always a little dicey when you're chasing 2. You don't want to give up that runner. Getting a good jump but not going is Mumu. Top of the order to follow, Redamar, Penuelas, and Inoka. Trying to scratch and claw for a couple. Two balls and a strike to Gonzalo Masmu. Swing and a miss late on that one. Good hard riser away. That'll run the count even at 2-2. Swing and a miss late on that one. Down goes Masmu, so 1 out in the inning. Second time he's gone today. Back to the top of the order to Redamar. Lucio 0 for 2 on the day. A couple of ground outs, 1 to short and 1 to third. Mata turning to say something to Schiller, perhaps reminding him that he's gone that way a couple of times. Off the plate, way outside. Redamar with a couple of home runs on the season, both of those game winners. Championship game at the Chiefs Challenge in Simcoe. Opening game against these drillers in Port Huron. Ground ball in the hole. That one's going to be a base hit to right. Around second and coming into third easily is Tane Mumu. So Redemar's base hit gives the Gremlins the tie-in run at first base. Two hits in the inning, and it'll be Abayardo Panuelas with a chance to cash in one of them. So Mumu's single to center. Redemar's single to right field. Has runners at the corners for the Gremlins. Panuelas, like Redemar, a couple of ground outs. One to third, one to second. In for a called strike. Good over the top drop from Mata. Ball low outside. So great speed on the bases, great speed at the plate. This is the trio of youngsters. I said I'd like to see the foot race, probably the three fastest on the Gremlins. Pressure on the defense. Foul up and out of play on the left side. Anything in the infield, they'll have to hurry to try and get Panuelas. Anything to the outfield. Keep an eye on Redemar. He represents the tying run. Little bouncer in front of the plate. It'll be foul. Got just a piece of it. Not unlike the at-bat that Mumu had, just battling away, trying to stay alive up there. A 1-2 to Panuelas. High hopper up the middle, fielded by Shaw. He'll have the out, but the run scores. Mumu coming in with a run. And moving over to second base is Redemar. So Panuelas able to get the run home. Ball, you'll see it on the replay, sort of a slow hopper. Looked like Schiller might make the play initially, but Shaw coming over to make sure of one out. 2 outs in the inning, and Benny Noka with a chance to tie it. In for a called strike. Benny's on base percentage about double his average, but the RBI number is high, as always is the case with Inoka. 1 RBI right here would be huge for the Gremlins. Misses away off the plate. Gremlin fans, I'm sure remembering the 8 RBI performance Inoka had on the final day of last year's ISC World Tournament, saying all we want is 1. Strike on the outside edge for a call. So 2 strikes on Inoka, advantage Waymul Mata. Redemar at second base trying to look over Mata's shoulder. Upstairs, Inoka had a thought but lays off the high one. Started out looking like a strike and sailed. So the count even at 2-2. Bouncer foul over on the left side. Inoka just fighting that one off to stay alive. Probably not a strike, but with a 2-2 count, you don't take chances. Eric Ochoa on deck, but right now the game, Mata against Inoka. Lays off the high one. They appeal the call, and he did not go. So the count runs full on Beninoka, 3-2. First base open. We'll see how Mata pitches here. Ochoa, the dangerous hitter, waiting on deck. Another at the plate in the form of Beninoka. Strike 3 called, and Mata pitches out of trouble. The Gremlins get a run, though, on 2 hits. 1 man left will go to the top half of the 6th inning. The Gremlins cut the lead in half. Drillers 2, Gremlins 1. We'll be back with more from Brookside Park in Ashland, Ohio. Top of the 6th inning for the Drillers. Jack Bestgrove in the circle, ready to go, waiting on a hitter for the Drillers to step in.
Now batting the pitcher, number 4.
Wemel Mata will step in. Wanzara will follow. And then, as we said, it's Godoy in place of Underwood. And did we get a first name on Godoy? I want to make sure we don't confuse him with the other Godoy. Mata swings and misses. Trying to get back that run he just surrendered in one swing of the bat. He has good power, very capable of reaching the fence, but doing it against Jack Bestgrove, another story. Hard one down the right field line. That's going to hit and scoot all the way to the fence. Penuelas on his horse runs it down. And Mata with a hard double to right. Watch on the replay. You see Mata, all that weight behind it. Drops that barrel and heads to the races. So coming on to run number 2, if we can pick that up. Edgar Navarro on to run for Mata. Edgar Navarro. And it's Juan Zara at the plate. Foul tip, had a pretty good hack at that one, did Zara. Zara 0 for 2 on the day, strikeout and a ground out. Way inside, almost hit Zara, but he gets out of the way. Off the plate away. Little frustration in the face of Jack Bestgrove. I think Nick Mullins sees it. Going to go out there and keep his player focused. Can't make every pitch perfect, I'm sure he's saying. Just stay focused. Three balls and a strike. First base open. Godoy on deck. That one's right down the heart of Main Street. That'll run the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Lined right back at Bestgrove, and he spears it. Great defensive play by Bestgrove. Hard hit ball off the bat, and he just grabs it. Watch the replay. No time to do anything but squeeze it. I don't think he even saw the pitch. Great defense by Bestgrove. And that'll bring up Manuel Godoy. Manuel. The line out to Bestgrove for the first out. Swing and a foul tip, miss, good riser. Godoy got just a piece of it. Anywhere else, that ball's up the middle for a base hit, and with good speed out at second, Navarro would come home and take back the run the Gremlins worked so hard to get. Foul tip to the screen. Ball high, stays upstairs. Zach Shaw, the 9-hitter, is on deck. Swing and a miss, good location. Tuck that riser inside under the hands of Godoy, no place to go. So 2 big outs for Bestgrove, needing 1 here to get his team back to hitting. Here's Zach Shaw, 0 for 2 on the day, a fly out to right and a ground ball out to Cole Evans at short. Misses away off the plate outside. Strike call down at the knees. Change up and a beauty, floats that one right across the heart of the plate. I think Shaw would like to have another hack at one like that. Just not ready. He doesn't throw it that often, but when he does, it's a good one. Ball just a little bit high. High pop up. That one's going to be out of play, so we'll do it again at 1-2. Edgar Navarro running for Mata at second base. Good speed out there. Bestgrove looking for the final out of this inning, needing just one strike to do it or to entice the out from Zach Shaw. Grounder right back to Bestgrove, gets away from him, picks it up in time, and throws to Ochoa. So some great defense on display by Jack Bestgrove. Caught the liner and stayed with the last one for the final out. To the home half of the sixth we go. The Gremlins down to their final 6 outs. They scored a run in the last frame. Looking to do that again here in the 6th. I'm Jim Flanagan. You're watching the Gremlins Network from Brookside Park in beautiful Ashland, Ohio. Down the stretch we go. Championship game in this tournament. Drillers on top 2-1. While we have a moment, just want to do a cap tip to the town of Ashland, Ohio. They have been tremendous hosts for this tournament this year. A beautiful, welcoming city. Hospitality on full display. We want to thank all those that have participated in that effort. Craig Scott, of course, among them, the manager of the Midland team, who's been doubling as the tournament director, was out here till 3 o'clock this morning getting things ready for today. Our friends Reggie Klein up here in the booth, the scorekeeper, and the PA announcer Mike Van Dyne have been here all weekend long. When we leave to go rest, they continue on. They've been here early, they've been here late, and the tournaments without people like Reggie and Mike, it just doesn't happen. So we say thank you to the town of Ashland, Ohio. You've been a great host, and certainly teams have enjoyed the hospitality that's been on display here. Home half of the 6, 4, 5, and 6. That's Ochoa, Evans, and Mullins. Mullins coming on in place of Avery in that spot in the order. Ball taken outside. Ochoa 1 for 1 on the day. Had the double to lead off that second inning. Also walked in his other trip to the plate. That second inning was actually the best look the Gremlins had at the game at that point. Foul tip to the screen. Ochoa started the inning with a double. Cole Evans walked. So at one point they had first and third and nobody out, and then we're only chasing the 2 runs. Just didn't happen that inning. But they managed to scratch for 1 last inning. Tane Mumu with a leadoff single coming home on Lucio Redemar's base hit. Top hitter, top RBI man, top average, top home runs. We've said it all weekend long, but the guy at the plate has been the offensive firepower for the Gremlins. They would certainly prefer to see him with men on base in front, but certainly capable of starting a rally on his own. A ball and two. Way outside. Oh, called third strike call. That pitch on the outside edge. Zara, you watch the replay and tell me what you think. Zara doing a big-time frame job on that one. Here's Cole Evans. Evans a walk and a strikeout. Little pop-up in the infield. Marshall Cronk says, I've got it. And he does. 2 quick outs for Mata in the inning.
2 outs brings up the catcher, number 3, Nick Mullins.
Here's Nick Mullins, his first at-bat in the game. He came on in place of Brian Avery to do the catching. Nick at the top of the stack in walks for the team. I think it's a dozen at this point. He, like Inoka, with that on-base percentage hovering somewhere around the 500 mark, would like to find a way to get on base no matter how. Ball upstairs. Way inside, almost hit Mullins. Right down the heart of Main Street, splits the uprights with that one. 2 outs in the inning, nobody aboard for the Gremlins. 6th inning, down by 1. Swing and a miss, tied him up inside. So the count even at 2-2. Or did he say 3-2? I believe he did. And Mullins continues the walking parade. So the any way you can works for Mullins as he works for the walk. He is the tying run. Ladislao Malarzuk at the plate. Change up, a good one, floats that one in for a strike. The problem for skipper Greg Leather is the youngsters he usually has on the bench as speedsters that they could put in to run in this situation for Mullins. They're in the game as starters due to the other players not being here. That one's off the plate outside for a ball. But you play with the team you have. Many teams come and go. They've had to fill in for injured players or missing players, all part of the game. Gremlins have done a good job throughout the weekend moving all the pieces to the puzzle, just trying to scratch for one to get even here. Off the plate, in for a called strike on the outside edge. We'll let you judge on the replay. Swing and a miss on a roundhouse rise. Down on strikes goes Malarzuk. Down go the Gremlins in the 6th. 2-1, Drillers on top of this one. The Gremlins, when they bat in the 7th, will be down to their final chance. The Drillers trying to add some insurance. I'm Jim Flanagan from Brookside Park in Ashland, Ohio. We'll be back down the stretch. Don't go away. Home half of the 6th inning for the Drillers, and back to the top of the order we go. Tio Migliavaca, he'll be followed by Milheim and Schiller. Tio's been the story of this game. 2 hits, 2 runs scored. Led off the first with a single and scored. Led off the 3rd inning with a bunt single, beautiful bunt single, and came around to score. That one right now represents the margin of victory. Drillers ahead 2-1. There's the bunt. He thought he'd try it again. Mullins all over that one. Just foul. Mullins flying out of the box, comes up throwing a P down to Ochoa. Having a chuckle with USA teammate Blake Milheim on that one, I think. Who's on deck, floats a changeup, stays upstairs for a ball. Bestgrove and Mata, they were the starters, both still in the game. Bestgrove given up just 2 runs on 6 hits to this point, 5 strikeouts in the game. Hard one to second. Tane Mumu making a nice play on that one, going way over to his right. So the youngster from New Zealand having himself a good game, a game within the game. He had the single to spark the rally that gave the Gremlins their 1 run, and now makes a nifty defensive play at second. Here is the aforementioned Blake Milheim. Fly ball, first pitch swinging, going back towards the fence is Penuelas. Makes an easy catch, making a tough play look easy. So 2 quick outs for Jack Bestgrove.
With 2 outs, the shortstop, number 3, Cam Schiller.
Here's Cam Schiller, 2 for 3 on the day, single, double, and a strikeout last time swinging. Little flare, that one's going to be in shallow left field. Cole Evans all the way down the line and in foul territory somehow runs that one down. So some great defense by the Gremlins in the 7th. Makes it a 1-2-3 inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left for the Drillers. Last call for the Gremlins, 7th inning. They are down by a run. 2-1 Drillers. Be here for the finish. We'll be back right after this. Home half of the 7th inning, and the Gremlins need a run or the Drillers will come away with the title here in Ashland. It's been a great weekend, all weekend, regardless of the finish of this one. I want to send my personal thanks to the city of Ashland. All the things they have going for them here. Beautiful weather, beautiful green, lush fields. Shawshank Redemption, the connection to that movie. A couple of scenes filmed here in town and the rest of it down the road. Balloon Fest they're having next month, the 30th anniversary of that Shawshank movie here next month. But throw that out the window for the moment. The Gremlins batting in the 7th, and it's Tane Mumu to start things off. He was the leader in the 5th, got on with a single, came around to score. He would like to repeat that right here. Swing and a miss late on the riser. Mata seeing the finish line here, looking back for a little extra on that pitch. No reason to save anything here. Hard one, swing and a miss, down goes Tane. So first out of the inning recorded. Here's Gonzalo Masmu. Masmu in the 9 spot. Trying to set the table for the rest of the order. Redamar and Penuelas to follow. Masmu 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts against Mata. First pitch swinging, being aggressive up there, fouls that one away. Had a pretty good hack at it. That's the kind of at-bat Tane had in the prior at-bat. Just find a way to put one in play. Upstairs for a ball. Good hard over the top drop for a called strike. So 1-2 on Gonzalo, trying to breathe life into the New York Gremlins. Hard grounder foul up along the left side. Masmu staying aggressive at the plate. Good contact on that one. Swing and a miss. Rise ball and a beauty from Mata. Down on strikes goes Masmu. And Lucio Redamar representing the final hope for the New York Gremlins here in the 7th. Wemel Mata, the big, strong right-hander from Argentina, trying to close out this #1 ranked New York Gremlin team. Lucio Redamar trying to stand in between it. Singled last time up. Had the hit that drove in the run. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Hand up, asking for a little bit of time until he gets settled into that box you see there. Foul tip right back to the screen. Had a pretty good hack at that one. Takes a deep breath and a little sigh as he steps back in. Thought maybe that was his pitch. The youngster Abayardo Penuelas waiting on deck, but Redamar needs to reach for him to get a chance. Lifted foul territory down the left field line. Given chase out there is Solario, but he runs out of real estate as the ball goes out of play. And we'll reset and do it again. So Redemar making some contact up there. Has gone the other way with it a couple of times, just trying to put something in play. Time is called. The ball coming back into Solario, the one that went out of play. A defense straight away. Milheim, Schiller, Shaw, and Kronk around the infield. Solario, Migliavaca, and Godoy around the outfield. Hard grounder, two-hopper to Shaw. Shaw to Kronk, and that's a ball game. The Northeast Drillers come away with a 2-1 win in the championship game against the #1 ranked team in the world, the New York Gremlins. Waymel Mata goes the distance. He's the winning pitcher. Jack Biscrow will take the loss in this one. Outstanding effort on the weekend by both of these teams. The Gremlins just coming up a little bit short. Final score, Drillers 2, Gremlins 1. For Luciano Lofrano and all the folks at Softball Premier that have brought you the great pictures all weekend long, we say thank you. I'm Jim Flanagan on the Gremlins Network. We will see you down the road. So long.
For the latest in softball innovation, the website where you can experience the best tournaments in the Americas. Live games, news, tournaments, and much, much more. The best quality live softball, on demand so you can watch when you want. Become a Premier member now. SoftballPremierTV.com.